Man, the world is going bananas over this Microsoft acquisition, and we're here to talk about it. So let's get into it.
I love gaming.
Welcome back to another episode of the We Love Gaming podcast. My name is Godly Sovereign, and we are here to talk about games and all of the latest in gaming news. And I'm not here alone, of course. I have my fellow brethren with me, Sir Knight and Markariah. What's good, fellas? How y'all doing?
Doing great, man. How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Excited to talk
Happy
about this.
Friday.
Excited to talk about this news.
Yeah,
This is some good news, guys. Some good news, man.
it's big,
Yeah,
dude. This is
interesting,
crazy,
interesting.
man. I didn't think it was like gonna be so much in it, but then when you start like peeling back all the layers and stuff like that, you just realize that like this is like a problem and everybody is panicking. House is burning over there.
Yeah,
But-
that's why I was found it interesting that Mark said this is good news because it's definitely divided out there in the world.
Hey, it's good
How
for
people
me.
feel
I,
about
Yeah, it's
this.
good for
Yeah.
us. We're straight, right?
hey, it's good for me, man. I love this, man.
we
But
we
Sony-
have Game Pass and PlayStation. We ain't sweating it over here. We chilling.
Yeah, it's interesting. Kind of like there's something Colin Moriarty usually says with these acquisitions. It's like the Matrix when you're dodging bullets, and it's like I feel like a lot of these acquisitions, like we kind of dodging bullets. Like they don't really affect us too much, but
Yeah.
at some point in time, like I don't know, man, this isn't like a good trend.
Yeah.
I don't know if this
But
is
hey,
a
guys,
trend.
He
hey,
starts-
guys, let's save some of this talk for a few minutes.
Yeah,
For sure,
absolutely.
yeah.
But until then, let's talk about what we've been playing. So I'll start.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
So Death's Door. I know Sir Knight recommended that one. So I
Nice.
downloaded it. It's ready to go. This weekend I'm gonna get hopefully an hour or two with it. That's my
Okay.
goal. So I got that game queued in my back pocket, ready to go. The only game I played this week is a very interesting one. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duels just came out. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
Gosh, I was
I have,
never
man.
expecting this,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
man.
never dies, bro.
I was never
Never
expecting
dies, man.
this, dude.
So Yu-Gi-Oh! Finally came out with a game that pretty much emulates the real life Yu-Gi-Oh! As much as possible.
Oh, so the official Yu-Gi-Oh.
Mm.
The official asterisk. So this just think of Yu-Gi-Oh! The current Yu-Gi-Oh! With a different ban list. So that's what this is. It has all the same cards for the most
Is
part.
this made by Konami though? Like this is like
This
a
is-
thing that's
This is an official on
official.
Xbox, Switch, PlayStation,
Xbox.
Steam, and it's coming.
Xbox.
And it's
Oh,
coming to the phone
dang.
very soon. So
Is it coming to the PSVR?
it's coming to everything. So world domination. So this is the reason why I wanted to play it, because on the phone sometimes I got a couple minutes to kill. It has a battle pass mechanic, so you can earn stuff. It's just like Hearthstone style,
Right.
but it's with Yu-Gi-Oh. And I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh in like 8 years. I haven't played since Pendulum. Those Pendulum guys came out. So anywho, I just wanted to try it out, see what all the hype was, because online is pretty popular right now, guys. On Twitch, it's up there on the charts.
Really? That's cool, man. I'm looking forward to seeing
It's
this.
very popular. Hey, all PlayStation Plus owners, you get 50 free booster packs. So make sure to go claim those 50. You get a whole booster
That's
box.
$59.99.
Dude,
Is that free 99 or what?
Free 99. So go get your booster box, man. And some
Are you
bust open some
kidding?
packs. Yeah.
Man.
I haven't even
So-
heard of this, Mark. Where'd you
Hey, man,
I'm trying to get some blue eyes, white dragons, bro.
So the crazy thing is, I heard about this from my coworkers like a year or two ago. At my old job, I had me and my boss. We had some starter decks. We used to play with the Yugi, the Joey. We used to play the old school at work.
Yeah.
And one of my coworkers was just like saying, "Oh, he was asking me what I play." I was like, "Board games." He's like, "Oh, I play like card games." I was like, "You do? Like what?" He's like, "Oh, you probably never heard of it, Yu-Gi-Oh." And in my desk at the time, I had my cards because I would play with my boss. So I was like, "Dude, look, I got some cards right here." So long story short, on Discord, I still talk to him from time to time. So he's the one that kind of posted about this. So that's why I was following it. But anyways, it's called Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. It's a Hearthstone-esque game. There's a shop.
Crazy.
You earn packs. You gotta
Master Duel.
build up your deck. There's like ranked play. There's all sorts of play. So I would say check it out, guys. Once it's on the phone, I'm gonna be playing it at least like once a day just to mess around.
Can you only acquire cards through purchasing packs, or can you buy individually?
Correct. So you could only earn them
You
in
wish
game.
there was an individual market.
Only all right. So only by buying boost structure
Hey,
decks.
that's how
packs.
Hearthstone is.
Yeah. So it's just like Hearthstone. So there's no trading. You got to buy
in
the pack.
Hearthstone, you can craft cards, individual cards.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's crafting. I'll have to double check.
That's what I mean by individual.
Yeah, so I'll have to check on that, but you know, it has the battle pass system, it has the gems, just like all those little gotcha games. But you know, I think this one could have some promise to it. I have a feeling they're going to do official tournaments with this. So and it's just something cool to mess around with. You know, the game is not as polished as Hearthstone. Like it's a little clunky, but I would say that's just because Hearthstone is like perfection on the interface.
Right.
It is.
You know, like all these little cool little hidden gems on the maps.
It just flows so well too.
Yeah. But because Yu-Gi-Oh's has a little more mechanics with phases and things, I get why it's a little clunky, but it's still really good, guys. Once it's on the phone, it's gonna be like on a whole nother level. But just on one final note, it's cross progression, cross platform on all. I saw info about the game pop up when I launched. Nice, man. Yeah, I got it on Steam. That's where I'm playing it right now.
Shout out to Arachnid. Always
yeah,
coming
what's up,
through.
Arachnid?
Appreciate you, bro.
But hey, it's completely cross-platform, man. So you know, if you play it on the Switch, if you play it on the PC, your phone, it's not on the phone yet, but it's just one account. So that I love when games are cross-progression.
What about
cross-platform.
Yeah, that's dope.
Apple app? Is there an Apple app? Is there an application for it?
So the phone is coming soon for Android and iOS. It's coming very soon.
What about iPad?
It's coming soon for the iOS and Android soon. Mobile
It'll probably
is coming
just
soon.
blow it up for the iPad, maybe. I don't know. You know?
Yeah, so that's when I'm gonna get. That's when I'm gonna go hard on it.
Yeah, I'll play hard when it comes on iPad.
So yeah, dude. So it's cool, man. So right now you get some free gems for playing, for doing the little tutorials, trying to teach you how to play. 2,000 life points. I'm like, dude, come on, let's play some real Yu-Gi-Oh. What the hell is this shit? You know,
I used to go hard on that. No one knows about that, man.
It's probably to be quicker, right? Because normally it's what? Is it 8,000? Or was
no, it is 8,000, but the tutorial is 2,000, and then when you learn a little bit, it's 4,000. But it's still like two turns, dude. Okay. It's like, all right, summon monster, next turn, smashing ground. I won.
I think
like,
that's over. To give you a little taste.
Smashing ground, man.
Yeah. Ground, but anyways, check it out, guys. I think it could be a next big thing.
Really?
And
wow.
I think so, dude, because it has a lot of following for some reason. I mean, I know why we all know why Yu-Gi-Oh is cool, but I didn't know there's so many people out there that want to play it too.
I was addicted to Yu-Gi-Oh for decades, man.
Yeah, man, we were ahead of the game for a long time.
Yeah, a lot of you don't know this. The only one watching Arachnid, but I was like a YouTube godfather, man, to Yu-Gi-Oh. I had like one of the largest channels on all of YouTube. Long time ago.
Hey, so just to let you guys know, right now it's number 12/13 on Twitch.
Oh, okay.
And
it probably is pretty entertaining to watch.
And that's pretty damn good, guys. You know, because I mean, it's not gonna kill like League of Legends, Fortnite, but it's right behind Genshin Impact, and that's a solid game. So, you know, that's 37,000 watchers. That's pretty good for Yu-Gi-Oh, man. That's not like a mainstream game, you know. So, so yeah, man. So that's kind of what I've been. That's it, man. Like little NFT, you know, P2E kind of stuff on the side, but. Yeah, remnants, but you know, that's for a different day.
Yeah.
So what about you guys?
What you been playing, sucker?
Yeah, dude, Mark, man, you got me like addicted to this Archvale, dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've been playing that basically nonstop, man. Like hours.
How far?
I put like 12 hours in this week.
Oh shit, you passed me, dude.
Just this week, that's like solid. I got like 3 more Archstones to get. I'm like right before there's 3 more to get, and I'm about to kill the boss. I'll have like 2 more to get. So I've been putting lots of work in on that game. It's kind of like a love-hate relationship though, because it's hard, man. Like, and there's a couple things about it that are really annoying. I don't know if you've been to like the Frozen Castle yet.
Yeah, dude, that dungeon.
Yeah, the dungeon, the Frozen Castle.
With all the movement shit, I hate those.
The movement
hard,
things, man, really put a damper on the game, man. Like big time damper, bro. Like, dude, it's not fun. Like it's just you want to punch a wall in, dude. Like I have to just sit here or I give up on the game.
You got to dash perfect.
Like, yeah, and you have to like learn how. It's really, really frustrating, and like dozens and dozens of attempts. And so it's like this is not fun, but the combat is a ton of fun. And it's just like Enter the Gungeon, and some of the bosses can be really hard. But what's kind of cool is you can kind of farm a bit and get a little stronger. So you have like an option to kind of get bigger and stronger. And so it's not like Gungeon where like you just go as far as you can. I love that too. This is more like Dark Souls to me. You're trying to find like the bonfire, or in this case, like the fountain. And like once you find the fountain, you're like saved from that point and you can teleport to it. So it's very similar to like Dark Souls in that way.
Dude, it took me like 4 hours to realize that you can port between fountains. I was such an idiot. Dude, I was just grinding the whole time, like, damn, this game's long. And then I figured out you could teleport. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude, when I first played it, bro, like I did the starting zone, and I was getting my ass handed to me, man, by the second slime room with all the little slimes coming out.
Yeah.
And that little sword, like it doesn't have like any length,
range, dude.
Yeah, and I was getting crushed, bro.
Close to the
like
shit.
I probably did that like 7 times, and I was like, dude, is this a roguelike? Because I'm not going to like this. This is a roguelike. And I looked it up, and it's not a roguelike. So I was like, oh, thank God. So that gave me some motivation. So, okay, I'm going to get back in there. I'm going to be just very, very cautious, and I'm going to just, slow and steady. I don't care how long it takes. I'm not going to rush because you want to get through it. You want to rush through it. So I'm not going to rush. And I killed those dudes, and I got out into the world, and then the game was just like so much fun from that point forward. So, but I have run into a couple walls that are really, really frustrating. The one was the ice castle that was really, really, I don't know. I want to punch the developers for doing something dumb like that. But then I kind of ran into it again in the jungle castle. I don't know if you got there yet.
I don't think I got to that one yet.
The jungle castle has it kind of like that a bit as well, but instead of like sliding, you just have the little green thing to land on and then immediately teleport. So you gotta like be instantaneous. So it's really, really frustrating there too. And I'm like, gosh darn it, I never want to do these dungeons because there's always some gimmicky puzzle thing like that in all these dungeons, man. Like that's my basically probably my biggest complaint. That's probably my
that's a good complaint, dude. Because I mean, what weapon do you use? I'm curious.
So when I first started, I was kind of like just as I got a new weapon, I tried out. That's another major plus for this game. I'll say this. Another major plus is every single weapon is so different. Every one is like so different and unique. Like you can't just look.
Was like spells and shit. It's not.
There is a magic weapon, but there's no spells.
There's a wand that like shoots magic balls or whatever. But what's cool about it is you can't just go off the stats, man. Like you have to equip it and try it. Yep. Like you can look at the stats and it might tell you like the damage but it might it might feel completely different. Like you might see low damage and like a low rate, but then when you shoot it, it's like a shotgun now. So it's like, oh, I thought this was low damage, but it's not. It's shooting out like 25 balls in one hit. And so that's why it's got like a lower shooting rate. But every ball hits for that 50 or whatever. And you're like just wrecking things. So I was like kind of just using whatever I came across, whether it be like a melee weapon or a ranged weapon or a magical weapon. And I would just swapping my gear because you get gear pieces as well that you craft. And like some pieces of gear, like will give you like 10% damage to melee or like 10% damage to ranged. And so I would kind of like swap my gear and whatever gear I had the most of that gave me the most damage boost to whatever type of weapon I was using. And then probably about halfway through my playthrough, I was like, you know what? I just got to specialize, man. I just got to stick to one type. And so basically, I've been using magic wands, basically.
Dude, the wands, the magic's OP, dude. Because they kind of like the missiles keep going. They bounce off walls.
Yeah, they do some crazy cool things. Like the one I was using for a while was one of the tomes, the black and white tome.
The tome.
You got the black and white tome. I don't know if you got the black and white tome.
I don't
it's
got
like
that
a yin yang tome. But anyways, the balls home in too. So the balls like hone and they're like they shoot out. He spits out like a crap ton of them. And you don't really have to aim that well because they home in. So I was like having a lot of fun with that tome. But more recently, I got another weapon recently. It's like a prism or something like that. And it shoots a beam really quickly. So it doesn't home in, but it shoots through and it also pierces everything. Nice. So that was really strong. So it's almost like I get like a new weapon. It's like a game changer. Like it makes the game like that much more, beatable and enjoyable. So Really great suggestion. Although it's a love-hate because there's going to be some things that really effing piss you off in that game. Even a couple bosses will really piss you off. And also, what else will piss you off are those little zones that you only get one life and you have to dodge all the bullets and grab.
Oh yeah, no, I like those. I like those,
dude. I don't. I've done like four of them, and like the fourth one, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It was like literally impossible. It's like, okay, I'm just not skilled enough for this. So like I literally can't.
I don't mind those per se, but dude, I don't
know if you've done many of them. Maybe you've done a few of them, but like once you get to
I've maybe done like
dude,
four,
they're really
four
hard,
or five
dude.
of them. But I was gonna say for me, I love that it's so easy to switch weapons because I use like 3 weapons, dude. Like I have my kiting weapon, like my tome. So if I'm far away and I'm just trying to ricochet stuff off the wall, I'll switch to the tome. If there's like a tunnel vision moment, like on a boss where I can just keep hitting them, I have like a little blaster cannon. I got it from that desert area. It shoots like a 3 shotgun little range attack.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I do use the spear because sometimes it does just, put in work. I have like a pretty good spear. I found that does good damage, but yeah, dude, it's a really fun game, man.
So do you try to find like power gear then?
So
see, for me, I want to take advantage of my highest damage.
Nah, dude, I don't even. I just equip the best items that I got. So for the armor, I'll just farm because at first I was crafting gear, but it's just a waste in my opinion until you get super late game. Because if you go to the crafting, it'll show you all the other recipes. So like right now, I'm trying to create some doomerang.
Well, it will only show you the recipes if you have pieces in your bag
to make it. Correct.
So as you get like, let's say, even if you get one ore of a new kind, it'll show you everything you can make with that one ore.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make the Doomerang right now.
You can't really see like that far ahead. Only based on what materials you have.
Yeah, but I mean, once you get all the base items, like let's say you just get a regular boomerang, it'll show you like the Doomerang, like the upgraded version of it. So I keep all of the base items. I create the base items because that unlocks a lot of other item recipes. But anywho, I like farming the areas, just getting all the epics. Because at first I was creating all the items, trying to max them out. Like you could +5 the weapons, but it just got too expensive. So I just farm the areas, and you get pretty good loot in that game. So
yeah, if you find a weapon you like, though, I +5 it. Like because it really makes it quite a bit stronger.
Yeah, I +4 a couple things. I haven't +5 yet. So
usually
a +38 at mine.
Just +5ing, all it does is give you quicker. It just increases this rate, the speed, the attack. But I will say one more thing, man. Like every hour I've played this has been on xCloud.
Really?
I did xCloud for every single.
And it wasn't laggy for you?
Maybe that's why you stuck in that one room where you was just like hating life.
I did have
one life.
deaths. I did have a few deaths to some bosses because of it, where it lags. It does that sometimes, but for the most part, it's been very, very rock solid. And the resolution's been very good too. I don't know. Here's one difference. So I haven't done it in like a year. So maybe they've done a lot of changes since the last time I've played Cloud. But also I have an iPad M1 iPad. So it's like really high processing power. And it runs really well. So I got to say, man, like after this experience with this game, I'm getting a little bit more excited once again for the purchase that we're going to talk about soon, but just like streaming in general and thinking about it, like that TV behind me, or just like the future. Like we've said many times, I don't think we're there yet, but like, wow, how exciting. Like it gets me like excited, man, to think about cloud gaming in the future.
What's up,
honestly?
Crucial?
Like honestly gets me excited, man. Like, cause that's really, really sweet, dude. Like that's the one route, man. Like this whole online cloud gaming that would make me give up physical games, So anyways, just one.
Hey, which M1 do you have? Do you have the 12.9 or the 11?
12.9.
Dang, Marcus has that one too. I was in the market for one, so I'm either gonna get the 11 or the 12.9.
So you gotta do it, man. You gotta go for that gusto.
I think I gotta go for the 12.9 now because
I wanted a bigger screen because of playing games on it. It's gonna be like my primary. I'm like gaming on that. That's like my number one gaming device, dude.
Yeah,
I'm doing like all my gaming on that.
That's your portable console right there.
Yeah, because of cloud gaming, dude.
Right.
It's really, really solid. I'm not kidding. You try it out, Stone. Like go to xCloud, and I'm pretty sure, man. I'm almost positive but every single game that's on my Xbox Game Pass is available on xCloud. I'm almost
A lot
positive.
of them are, yeah.
Like,
and I mean,
haven't come
if
across a
not, you can just
game.
play remote. Like I
I
was
haven't
telling
come
you,
again.
just play remote.
Yeah, but I haven't come across a game that hasn't been on there that I wanted to play.
Well,
So
I think mainly only PC exclusives. If it's on the Xbox, it's xCloud. But if it's some
that's
PC
sick.
exclusive,
So the next one I want to play on xCloud is going to be Nobody Saves the World, which we're going to talk about that coming up right here next pretty soon.
cool.
But that's going to be the next one that I want to try. So I'm really excited about xCloud.
I did want to check out
I'm getting more and more excited. You have to do the whole stupid browser though because you
got to go to the URL xbox.com/play. Then you make the shortcut.
Yeah, you make the shortcut. Yeah,
it's a pretty cool workaround though. I mean,
it is
it's just like an app. I'm like,
brilliant workaround. But yeah, I'd highly recommend the M1 12.9 inch. You're not going to be disappointed. It does feel like a big piece of glass in your hand though, like if you're holding it. But like if you want that nice screen, if you're sitting on the couch, even like that 13 inches like makes a big difference, you know?
Yeah, man. And then you plug your PlayStation controller up to it and you set.
Yeah, because I've been using some portable monitors, but it's a little too clunky with cables, you know. So I think I need to get that. I wanted to start drawing on one too. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna get the 12.9. It's a little pricey, but it is what it is, you know.
That's solid.
Yeah.
So is that all you play, Fulio?
That's it, man. Just Archville. Like I said, it's love, hate. I get addicted to it. I want to keep playing it, and I'm like, dang, I want to go back and play it. But I gotta like take breaks because it drives me up the wall sometimes, man. It drives me up the wall. But it's a great game, dude. Great recommendation.
Yeah, for sure.
Not for everybody. I don't think it's for everybody, but it is definitely a really cool game.
Yeah, I meant to. I have that one on my list too because I downloaded it. I just hadn't had a chance to check it out yet. Most of my time was occupied by Death's Door. So the moment I saw that was on there, like, you know, I put it up, you know what I'm saying?
I told you, homie.
Bro, man. That game is fun. That game is fun as fuck, man.
I told you, man. For like you see why I was in my top 5 this last year?
Yeah, for sure.
It's so good.
And I had wanted to play it before too. It's just that I hadn't purchased any games during that period of time. You know what I mean? So I was just behind. So it just worked out perfectly that it was on Game Pass or whatever for me. But I think I'm all the way. Like I'm about to go after the third boss or whatever. Mm-hmm.
The third realm or whatever.
Yeah, that third. Yeah. I'm already finished with the third realm, but I'm about to go after the third boss. But I've been enjoying it, man. And there's been some rooms that have been like extremely frustrating, more so with like those bigger bosses that just attack really quick, and you've only got 4 lives, so you gotta kind of like manage and dodge it. But I've been having a lot of fun with Death's Door. I was glad that I started it. You know what I mean? And it looks good. And you know, and I've been having fun with it like the whole time. You know, it's been like I'm hoping that Arkville isn't so much more tough than this.
It's a lot tougher. It's a lot tougher.
Yeah, because it seems like I've been going pretty smooth through it. You know, as long as you're hitting and striking, it's nice. Yeah, definitely, Arachnid.
Dude, yeah, this is why I was saying so much last year that it was. I know, like, you were kind of like giggling at me and stuff. Even when Deathloop came out, I was like, I don't know, man. Death's Door is really, really good. Like, I would not. It was my favorite game up until Deathloop, right? Like, it was such a good game that I was just blown away by it. And I think it's the perfect difficulty, in my opinion. Like, it's just hard enough. Where
because you can keep moving and whatnot, and you can see that you can beat the guys. You just have to work on your timing. And once you work on your timing and figure out how to get in, get out, shit, and then, I mean, I love the fact that you can die and then you still get to keep all of your souls. So some guys, like, sometimes if I've killed him once, I really don't want to kill him again, but sometimes you have to kill him to kind of push forward. But like all of those attempts, you know, you're just able to just stack up. So it's just nothing but pluses, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's not hard, it's not easy, but it's not like overly hard. Where sometimes Archville can be just a tad overly hard in some areas, in some instances, like an enemy type will pop up and it's like, dude, that enemy is just a little too strong, man. Yeah. Like, and you figure it out because you can just keep going at it over and over and over again. Like they put like the I call them bonfires, like pretty close between each other. So you only have to deal with like 3 or 4 rooms before you get a bonfire. But it's like there's some enemy types, man, that are totally challenging in that game. That like if there wasn't a bonfire save, like you'd be really losing it. It's like this is why Enter the Gungeon is not for me, dude. Like I could never get deep into that game.
Yeah, Gungeon is rough. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I saw that had came out or whatnot, but you know, I don't know. I kind of fell off of the Mass Effect wagon, so I gotta get back on it on the next.
Arachnid, have you already played all 3 of the original Mass Effects, or is this your first playthrough on them? You know, because I've played them all already, so it doesn't really excite me to go back and replay all those games again. For one, they're very massive and long, and I'd rather play something new. Like I know that's how I am as a gamer. I'm not one to like go back and really replay games. I like to go to a new game. Yeah, that's crazy.
Whoa,
yeah, I don't replay
6
games.
times.
That's crazy, Arachnid, dude. That's crazy. I don't like the game like that. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I mean, I liked 1. I always enjoyed 1. I thought that one was a great one, and then 2 was like cool, and then I felt like 3 was just kind of like long and drawn out for me. You know, and some things I could have done without or whatever. But I mean, it's definitely not bad as Dragon Age Origins.
Hey, I never played those, man. I gotta try them one day.
I think they're free on Game Pass. I'm almost positive that Legendary Edition just came out on Game Pass. Like Game Pass is so cool.
It's too good.
But Death's Door, man, it's like Zelda perfected. And the music too. They really did such a great job in that game.
I just wish I could jump, man. That's the only thing I wish. Is I could jump. Yeah. But other than no jumping, you know what I mean? I haven't had any qualms about it. And so I've been playing the hell out of that one. I'm trying to see if I can go through it. I don't know if it's a game that I can beat in just a weekend, but I'm gonna sure as hell try. And then when I wasn't playing that, I did get a chance to get a little taste of Rainbow Six Extraction.
Oh, I wanted to play that.
I played a bit of that. And
did they put you in a team, a lobby with multiplayer, or how does that work?
Well, it's so weird, man. So like you have to try like this VR training that they do. So they basically kind of walk you through like a scenario that you would have and show you, you know, how you're in the first area and then you have to complete like a mission or a task or whatever in that first area. And then you're cleared to proceed to the second area if you'd like, or you can just extract. And then you move and then you can get to the third area, complete that mission, and then you can extract and then, you know, and you get like your max amount of XP for that go. It's really weird because there's like the first city, I guess, New York. And there's 3 areas that I've come across so far. But it looks like you just keep doing them over and over and over again until you like get 100% of the map area or something like that. And then you'll unlock like a second area to go to and it'll be like another city or something and you just rinse and repeat. So it's kind of weird. Also, they force you to play with like every single character. So like what I mean is like there's like I think a total of like maybe 10 or so operatives on there. So like you're going through and they each have like their own specific gun or whatever that they'll rock with at first. So you might get like a handgun and then like a shotgun person or some type of assault rifle with like a little pistol with a silencer or something like that that you'll have. And if you play the mission through with that person, like you're gonna get hit and you're gonna get damaged, right? So you're gonna lose like a little bit of life. And so they immediately put them on injury report or whatever. So you can't go into do the next mission with that same person. You have to move to somebody else. And they all have their own experience levels. So like think grinding your fucking mind out because you've gotta upgrade like 10 people. You know what I'm saying? And then basically if you're playing in a mission
500 hours.
Oh, definitely. It might be 1,000. It might be 1,000 hours in that bitch. But
jeez, forget that, man.
You basically like play in the mission, and let's say like you get gunned down and drop, right? Or not gunned down, but you get attacked by these infected creatures or whatever, these aliens. Once that happens, you have like a slow time limit of where you're bleeding out, and then your person can come revive you. They can only do it once. So if you get dropped again, it doesn't matter. If somebody was right next to you, you're done. And then some like yellow goop swarms you or whatever. And it's
all right. But tell me, is this a fun game or not? Like, do you enjoy playing this game?
It's okay. It's all right. I mean, the fact that I have to level up 10 different people, and I'm going to have to in order to progress.
That kills
it's kind of like it's like goddamn, like I don't know if I really want to play 10 different people, you know what I'm saying? Like it takes a lot to get a level on one person, and then they only have that one weapon. So like, oh, let's say I like this guy's ability, but I want him to have an assault rifle with a damn silencer on it. I gotta level that shit up. You know what I mean? So I gotta use him whenever I can, and then I'll be able to go. So it's just kind of like it's one of those, you know. So it's like I'll play it, but I'm definitely not devoting no hardcore time. Like I wouldn't death door this shit, like or death loop it. You know,
it's not pulling you at all. Yeah.
No. I played it with my father-in-law, and then after he got off because he had to go to bed, I was like, all right, death door.
All right, I play like that's funny, dude. That sounds like a similar fate to like that. That sounds like a similar fate to that Dungeons one, Dark Alliance or something like that you play.
Oh, yeah. The Dungeons
sounds like a similar fate. Like it has these major flaws that kind of just make you that wall you off from wanting to keep going.
So I mean, Dark Alliance had like flaws, right?
Yeah, it was a flawed game.
This is just like grindy as fuck. It's kind of like what Arachne was saying. Like they definitely shaped this like they want you to play for like at least a decade before you finish.
Yeah, hey, how's the gunplay, man? How's the gunplay in it? Because I wanted to play this game.
Is it fun to shoot in that game?
Yeah. I mean, the gunplay is good. It's solid.
Because it reminded me.
I can't complain about the gunplay.
Of like a reskinned Back 4 Blood, but Rainbow Six Edition. That's my take on it from an outsider. I haven't played it yet.
Really?
Yeah, but I remember. I do remember you saying
Dark Alliance was trash. Dark Alliance.
Yeah, I heard Dark Alliance was garbage.
Yeah, but I remember one thing that was really frustrating with Dark Alliance that would have maybe kept you playing is if you were able to keep the loot that you had found up to the point when you died. Yeah. Then that would have been. I remember you mentioning like had you been able to keep that would have given you motivation to keep playing. So like they were walling you off from your loot. This sounds like they're walling you off through hours of play. Because you have to level up every guy. There's always some like major flaw that makes it like okay.
That reminds me of Marvel's Avengers, right? Marvel's Avengers that made you
Avengers
play all these guys.
Yes, exactly. Bro. That was the basic issue that we had was that you couldn't see all of the gear that you got. Like, fuck, am I collecting this shit for? Like,
well, and also you had to play every single hero. Like, what if I just want to be Iron Man?
Yeah, for sure. Like, if I want to die, I would have preferred that I could just be proficient with that person. But in order for me to do that, I have to play one mission, and if I pass it, cool. If I die, then I have to. Oh, if you die, you basically have to start the mission over again with a whole new character, and then you have to play through it enough to get that one mission where it says you can rescue your guy, or if not, your guy is not accessible at all anymore until you rescue him.
Hey, I got two questions. Or if you're done, Golly, I just got two quick questions. One for you guys and one for Arachne.
Mm-hmm.
So my first one is, I forgot to say, I played Jedi Fallen Order.
It's a good game. Great game.
And I didn't like it, dude. The parkour was like, I hated it. Does the parkour persist through the game? Because I absolutely hated that shit. Like,
there's instances of it throughout. But what I didn't like was there was no progression.
Yeah, I was gonna say too, like your gear, like
is your gear in that
game? You just upgrade your lightsaber, right?
There's no gear, dude. Yeah, there's no gear.
Yeah, there's no it's like it's like aesthetic skins and stuff like that. But I like the story and whatnot.
That's what buzz killed it for me.
Stuff was cool.
Yeah.
I thought the combat was pretty well done. I had fun with it for like 5 hours until like I got bored of it because it's the same exact thing over and over again. There's nothing worth to do. There's no point to keep going.
So you didn't enjoy the story then?
No, I personally didn't follow it. Yeah, I didn't follow it. I hated the parkour, and I was looking for my inventory. I wasn't getting loot. I was like, I'm good. All right,
I enjoyed using all the abilities and then solving the puzzles and stuff like that. So I have fun with it. Like it's definitely something that like wasn't like, oh, I should finish it type thing. You know what I mean? So there's there's that.
Like
Like I haven't finished it.
I agree with you,
thought it was cool.
Godly. Like it is a fun, well-made game. I think it's a well-made game. I think it's fun to play. It's just it's one-dimensional. There isn't anything else to want me to keep going that I usually like to keep me going, like finding
the chase and stuff like that.
Yeah, the chase. That's what I mean. Like, and I can understand the point that Mark Rai is making about the parkour. That was a little annoying
because some people
the combat was pretty fun.
Some people said it was like a Souls-like. And from when I played, it's not a Souls-like. It's not a Souls-like game. It's
very minimalistic Souls-like. I mean, they try to anytime that you can sit down somewhere and then all of the enemies respawn, they want to try to say it's Souls-like. You know what I mean? But that's not
a stretch, dude. That's a stretch, man. That's like saying 500 hours of content, man. That's a stretch.
that shit might be true.
All right, so thanks. I won't revisit that game, but it visually looked dope. And I like the main character, and it was well polished. So, but I'm just not gonna play it. But my second question, real quick, I just have one for Arachnid because you brought up XCOM. Have you played Mutant Year Zero by chance? The Road to Eden, Arachnid? It's like an XCOM type of game. Well, anywho, I was just curious if you played it because I love that game. That game is sick. All right, that's it for me.
He might have. That man got a tremendous library.
Yeah, yeah, man. Did you like it? Oh, okay, I love that game, dude.
Yo, Arachnid, I gotta see your list, man. I gotta see a list of like all of your games that you've played.
All right, he said it was a great game, so all right, cool. I was just wondering if you played.
That shit's gotta be huge, man. That's gotta be like a big list for sure. But yeah, so I mean, I would recommend that you guys at least give Extraction a try. Just to see how it goes and whatnot, because it might be something that's cool to like play with, like doing a WLG run or something like that.
We'll see how xCloud rocks it, man.
But yeah, I mean, like, bottom line is like if I'm not gonna play it with others, I wouldn't play it at all. And I think they do allow you to do like a quick play if you'd like to just be grouped with randos. And you can also go in with just two people. If it's just two, you can just do two. But honestly, the way the maps are and the quests that you have, the missions you have, it kind of requires that you have three, because it's just kind of like you might get overwhelmed if the shit hits the fan, But it's definitely like it wants you to be stealthy, although it does not give you a lot of situations where you can be stealthy in it. But basically silencers are key. Like you should not even use any weapon if it doesn't have a silencer on it, because you just ask if
it runs well on xCloud, then I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, try that.
Nice, man. But yeah, let's get into this. Let's get into the news, guys.
Yeah, that was all I played this week.
Lots to talk about, man.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely had mentioned it before and whatnot, but the first thing that we should start with is Sony, man. They definitely came back out and said, no, we are not releasing extra PS4s just to combat this PS5 shortage, which is kind of funny, right? Sense. It seems like they might have backpedaled a little bit. Like maybe this ain't a good idea, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers really don't want these PS4s or something. But what do you guys think happened? You think it was just some like random bullshit that somebody threw out there?
Dude. Because there's a semiconductor shortage still. This requires semiconductors, so why would they use it for a PS4 and not a PS5? It seemed fishy, but I thought maybe they might have a couple warehouses full of PS4s and they're like, hey, let's just get them out.
No, but, I didn't think it was warehouse full, but I think they have the parts already. And I think the parts are generally cheaper. So
like motherboards, they already have a bunch of pieces already.
Yeah, so. I think they already have the semiconductors and stuff that they need, so they can make these. But that's why I think that it is true that it's not that there's a PS5 shortage, but it's that they have nothing to sell to anybody, right? So that's a consequence of the PS5 shortage. So for me, it's like they can backpedal and say like it's not due they're not trying to get you to buy a PS4 instead of a PS5. But the truth of the matter is, they have nothing. They have no hardware to sell, so they have no other choice. They need to keep selling hardware. Like that's a big dude. Even after this Microsoft purchase, it's really becoming apparent to me how important hardware sales are to Sony. So like they really, really need to sell hardware. And I think like that's what this is. They don't have the chips for the PS5. That's true. I'm not denying that. So they're like, well, let's make PS4s then for people. Because it is true that just as this article said, that Sony had originally planned to end PS4 production in 2021. Here we are in 2022.
And they still
2021 is over. So it's not a complete lie. Like Sony's not being, I don't think Sony's being completely forthright here.
Hey,
his plans never changed. That's not true.
Hey, I think Sir Knight's right, because why did it take them so long to get faceplates? They probably like, all right, we got to make something real quick. Let's make these faceplates that everyone's been wanting, because that
let's
seems like
charge them $50.
And let's charge these things as these controllers. Okay, we have a bunch of controllers made. Let's just change the color, charge $10 more. So yeah, I think you might be onto something, man. I think you might be onto something with that logic.
Yeah,
that's definitely crazy if you got no PS5s on shelves, but you coming out with mad accessories and shit. Would you guys sit the fuck down somewhere? Go make me a goddamn PS5, man. Like you guys is bullshitting. Don't give me no stupid ass shells. Go get them systems on the shelf.
And then they released the black headset.
Yeah, I was sucker. I bought that though.
I think this is silly, and I think Sony is just desperate to sell some hardware. They just need to sell some hardware.
They want to get sales, right? Like
they want to get sales.
They want more sales because their quarter one is going to look mighty low.
And I think, exactly. And I think like they're like, we have major hype right now still for over a year for this PS5. We need to try to capitalize on it in some way. We don't have PS5s to sell, so let's see if this hype can slip over into some more PS4s. And they need to sell hardware. Like it's apparently obvious they need to sell hardware. Microsoft doesn't care if there's a shortage on Series X's. They're not going to continue producing Xbox Ones. They've already said that.
They continue to produce.
They don't care about hardware, dude. Like they're sitting so pretty.
Man, I haven't turned my PS5 on in 6 months, man.
Yeah, that's funny, right? If Sony re-released the PSP handheld, they don't even do the Vita. They do the PSP.
Hey, man, give us the Vita.
Crazy.
Yeah, the Vita relaunch. Yeah, in order to stimulate purchases with the lack of PS5s, we are reproducing PS Vitas.
Yeah, and that's definitely a good one right there. Trying to get in on that Sony stock because I'm sure it'll go back up. People are just tripping right now, but. But yeah, man. But I'm actually not surprised that they would, say, hey, we are not, increasing any PS4s or whatever on this thing. It would be completely foolish. Like I wouldn't understand it. I definitely wouldn't tell people if I was doing that shit. I might be like, nah, we not. And then just like, hey, open the floodgates.
I know. Exactly. That's what this is.
You just see a lot more,
yeah.
But
it's just internal.
Up front, I'm denying.
And let's face it, guys.
You're denying for sure.
Let's face it. Their stock dropped $20 billion, right? We'll talk about that later. Why it dropped $20 billion. This came after the fact, so I think they're just damage control. They're like, all right, guys, we have to hit the floor running. We have to be making the headlines. It doesn't matter why we're making the headlines. We need to get our name out there, get the buzz back. So I think this is just them trying to stay relevant in the.
They're pouting.
In the media.
They're pouting in the corner. They're mad. Nothing's going their way. It's a bad week for them. And they're pissed off that everyone's misunderstanding them. They're just pouting, I think.
I don't know if it's a misunderstanding, but they definitely trying to figure out.
They think
hey, we got mad eyes on us, and we just need to like do something right now because everything that's coming out is just looking bad for us, bro. So we gotta spin this. How do we spin this? Oh,
all they need to do, man, is their PS Plus. Include PS Now, include everything they got in the PS Plus, and I think that they have, a chance.
How do you think it would be if they did like a sleeper? Like they just all of a sudden you looked and you had PS Now just like active on your shit, but like they didn't tell nobody. Like, do you think that would cause flames? Like like, oh shit, everybody got PS now. You know what I'm saying? Like they do no formal announcement or anything like that.
Sony is the most stubborn company. They don't do anything like nice, dude.
I
Sony
don't
doesn't
know
do
if they're
anything
most
nice like
stubborn. You
that.
gotta look
I
at
would
the-
never see Sony do that. They would rather their company burn than do anything cool like that, man. That's my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah, enough of Sony, man. Who cares about that?
Yeah, pretty much the rest of this is about Microsoft because there's tons of Microsoft shit going on this week. It's their week, so they are lit. But let's talk about their Game Pass games that they added. Right?
Hey, can you control zoom in? Can you zoom in these bad boys a little bit?
Yeah.
So we can see that picture.
Just control zoom, or that works.
Yeah. So what is this? Mangy Money? No, Trigger.
Dude, I always wanted to play that game,
It's
dude.
Danganronpa or something like that, right?
Isn't that from like Persona or something?
I think it's from Atlas. It's not from like the world of Persona. It's its own separate world, but
So I haven't heard of that one.
I don't know.
Probably have to
It's
pull-
basically it's like a interactive novel, right? Like you like make decisions and choices. It's not really like a gameplay game. At least from what I understand. Danganronpa is not
Okay.
like a
Yep,
gameplay game.
you are correct.
Yeah,
so-
okay. So I mean that's that's on cloud, console, and PC. And then the other one is Death's Door, which we talked about, which is an amazing addition for Game Pass right there. It's a great one.
Yeah, man.
That's come out. And then you also have the Hitman Trilogy.
Yeah, this is all of them. So this is 3 too,
I'm
right?
gonna try that
Yeah,
on cloud. dude.
that's the last
nuts.
one that had just recently came out. So I mean it's worth a go. You know what I mean? If you like some Hitman and whatnot and want to check it out. So that's definitely a good addition. And then Nobody Saves the World. I definitely saw this one on there, and this was one of those that I wanted to get as well. I know one of you guys had mentioned it. That it was.
Yeah,
on
this
there.
is my next game after I finish. As long as I have the
Arkville?
stamina to finish this Arkville, and I'm gonna switch to Nobody Saves the World. This is from the makers of Guacamelee, man. I love Guacamelee.
Okay.
So like, this is a big one.
I never
here.
played Guacamelee, so I'm not.
You
familiar.
never played Guacamelee? I could have swore you played
No.
Guacamelee.
I have it, but I never played it.
It's just a
I played it.
Metroidvania.
I like it a
Really
lot.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. So and then the next one is Paparazzi. That sounds like some little,
That's
bullshit
what Mark's
game
gonna
to
Mark's
play
gonna
with
play that
or
one for
something.
us.
You
I
might
actually thought that one looked kind of dope. I'm for sure spin it up.
I mean, it's got like a quirky little artwork or whatever, so it might be unique in that sense.
It's a throwaway game, dude. It's a throwaway game, dude.
Definitely,
This
I
is-
know that's gonna be on one of your minutes, right? Where you play like 10 minutes of it, and if it's cool,
Yeah,
you
one of the minute
not-
games. You're gonna play it for an hour and then give us the review
It's
on it.
it's what I call a throwaway. I just play
That's
it
what
once.
I'm waiting-
I'm never gonna play it again. I'm
That's
just
what
gonna
I'm
play it one
waiting
time.
for.
and
I'm
it's
waiting
on
for
cloud, so you ain't got to download the shit to waste no hard drive space and nothing. No 2 megabytes of hard drive space and none of that shit. You solid.
Yeah,
So,
dude. The Markaraya Power Hour review, dude, is 1 hour
Power
to play. I'm waiting for that, man. That's what
That's
I'm waiting
my
for. I don't know if
Power
I should play it.
minutes.
This
Yeah.
Power Minute review, yeah.
So then we got, of course, Rainbow Six Extraction. So you know what I mean? It's okay. I mean, if you like grinding it out and you love a first person shooter, then I would definitely recommend giving it a try, just giving it a go,
It's
but,
crazy. Like that one's free.
Yeah.
You
and
remember
that's
when they
like-
announced that one? I think we saw it at like E3 or something.
Yeah,
And there it is, free.
which is crazy. And then you got
It's nuts.
Windjammers too. This kind of almost looked like a dodgeball academy or academia or something like that. Some type of game like that, but I don't know. I don't know much about that one.
Yeah, that is it's like Pong or whatever. Yeah, it's like a famous game back on like the old NES or something like that, Super NES or something like that. But this is like number 2, so I don't know. It's a multiplayer game, I think.
And then we got Taiko no Tatsushi or Sujin or something like
Nah,
that.
this I have nothing.
Dude,
I have nothing for you on this.
I always wanted to play this game, dude. So
Oh, yeah?
I almost bought this for the Switch,
Hmm.
but it's like super hard to get the drum in the game, like because I like drums. I have a
It's
couple
like
like
rare or
hand
something like
drums. It's just like expensive. It's like $150, but
Bro, you
there's
need
like a
the
little.
drum.
You need the drum for it. So
That's funny,
So it's
man.
almost like the Connect stuff then.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I want to get the drum if I could find a used one for the right price. Because
You
I
need the
always
drum
wanted to
for
play.
this. You need a drum for
Yeah,
this game too.
I don't
Yeah,
think you need-
it's a drum game. Yeah, it's a drum game.
For this Game Pass game, you need a drum.
Yeah, I mean it's a drum game. So you see
That's
those
so
two
weird.
drums right there?
Why would
Yeah.
they? I know, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying why would it's? I'm thinking they modified it somehow because like why would they add a Game
Why would
Pass
you
game where you
need
need
a
Okay.
accessories?
All right, so let me put it like this: Dance Dance Revolution, you could play it with a D-pad, but why would you want to do that? I don't know. So I'm sure you could play this with your analog sticks. I'm sure you could.
I
But
know
why
what
you
I'm
would want to
saying.
do that?
They probably optimized it, man. They
Yo,
had to have.
that would suck to do drums with your analog sticks, man. You sitting there.
It's a game where you play the drums, so why you would play it without the drums?
That shit would be wild, bro.
Hey, if you guys want to play Guitar Hero with the controller, that's on you. But
yeah.
it's just one of those. It's a musical game, you know what I'm saying?
Well, now
So-
what would be nice is if you could do like the Guitar Hero drums on this one. You know what I'm saying? If you could work that, then that would be cool. Because
Yeah.
as long as you can have any drums, then that would be nice. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Ray. Like, why would you have a game on here that requires
Yeah,
that you
that's
have-
so
it
Hey,
would be
think
like
about this.
that's so
edition.
dumb to me.
It
Hey,
was
man.
gotta be fucking drums.
Yeah,
this
no
game's
one knows
popular.
the drums. Why would they do
Listen,
this?
this game's popular in Japan, guys. So they're trying to appeal for that, that international market.
Oh yeah. You
Okay,
right. You right.
okay,
You right.
that
I
must
feel
be
you
what
on
it
that one.
is. I got you.
This
I'm
is the
about to
international.
go on eBay and them drums about to be 200 by themselves. No game.
So you can get generic drums for cheap on Amazon, like $30. But if you
Oh,
want the
it's like-
legit drums,
Oh, you
like
want the legit?
if you want the Hori,
no,
if you want
you
the Hori
Taka
drums,
nose, man.
now you got to get the Horis. The Horis are the good ones.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I always wanted to play this game because I love hand drums like and stuff. So,
Wow.
anyways,
Okay, and then for the last game that they added on here, another Rainbow Six game, Siege, the Deluxe Edition. Yeah, I haven't played no Rainbow Six. That's literally Extraction is literally the first Rainbow Six game that I've ever played.
really,
No lie. Yeah, no lie.
did you
I
play
don't-
the Division?
don't-
Isn't that Rainbow Six?
Nah, that's Tom Clancy.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's not Rainbow Six.
That's
Gotcha.
PC only anyway, so that's like a no go for me. So
Oh yeah, that's for PC, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I mean, it's a solid list of games. I mean, if anything, you got damn Death's Door and then a fucking day one, right? Is Rainbow Six Extraction day one?
yeah, it's
Mhm.
day one.
Yeah, that's a day one.
and
So
date. That's crazy.
yeah, so I mean, those are
A lot of good games, guys. A lot of good
additions
games.
on there, some solid additions, and
I'm
I
always
can't wait for
excited.
somebody to go.
I'm always excited to the Game Pass releases, man, because there's always a couple, like 2 or 3, like really
At least
big,
one that
big,
you'll
big-
play, right?
Yeah, like a couple that are like really dope. So that's really cool. I love
Yeah,
it, man. Like when I see, like I wake up one morning and I'm looking online and I see like a new review for a game and I click on it. Like for instance, that's what happened for this Nobody Saves the World. I saw
Yeah.
the review for it and I was like, dude, that looks really cool. And I saw that it was by the creators of Guacamelee. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna search. I always just put the game title and then Game Pass next to it. And I
Yeah.
look and I'm like, that was on game. I was like, oh my gosh, man! Like every cool thing that I see, it just always there's like a large chance it's gonna be on Game Pass. It's so crazy if it's not like a first party game.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm you definitely right, Ragnar. I'm probably never gonna play a Siege. And if it does remind you of like Siege, then it's probably they probably just following with like what works. You know what I mean? Like why?
I think it's the exact engine of Siege.
Yeah,
okay.
the
but
same
they just-
operators. And
Yeah,
everything.
the same. Yeah, and the same
Okay.
the same
Yeah, I think
engine
I
of
do remember
gunplay and stuff.
hearing something talking about that or whatever.
But it's just in a different skin, like that alien skin.
Yeah.
But
So
anyways.
let's go ahead and move
do
on
it.
to the
Let's do it.
main the main topic of
Let's do
this
it,
podcast.
man.
And that's Microsoft purchasing Activision Blizzard. Now, I thought this was crazy when I first saw this. I mean, like all last year, we were hearing the shitstorm that was going on over there at Activision Blizzard with all of the fucking charges of racism and sexism and shit. I think was it rape charges and shit too, and
Well,
It was
assault.
everything, man.
Assault,
Yeah,
yeah, sexual assault.
yeah, I mean, shit is crazy. They just was fucking. They was doing the most over there. They was wilding out, and we were all trying to figure out like what can they possibly do to like recover from this. And when we saw like their stocks going down pretty heavy, people boycotting the shit out of their games. Mark was telling us that Diablo 2 was down to like maybe number 40 or something like that on the list for games on Twitch or something. It was pretty low down there, and they were just trying to throw as many Hail Marys as they possibly could, trying to like revive old shit and like WoW by adding those old servers and stuff like that, trying to get money wherever they could. But it seems like they could not unsink this ship, and they just decided to bail completely and have somebody tow it. And Microsoft was more than willing to pick up that bill. And they paid like, what was it, like 60 billion or some shit?
68.
I would say
billion.
70 billion.
Yeah, damn near $70 billion for this motherfucker. I think it's like around $90 a share or something like that. And this is like exponentially more than what they paid for at Bethesda.
Bethesda
10
was
times.
20.
Yeah, times it. Bethesda was 7 or 8. 7
Oh,
or
7?
8, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't
This
remember.
is like 10 times as much.
All right, I'm gonna say this, guys. I want to start
70
jumping in.
70 billion. Dude, I thought we talked about how much money they had. I feel like they just dumped every dime they had on this. Anyways, go
they
ahead,
still
Mark.
got more. They got like 100.
I just want to say this, guys. First off, I love that they did this, but let me just get into. So when we talk about who Microsoft is going to acquire, right? We're like, okay, maybe UB, they got Bethesda, but I didn't think that they can pay this much. Like Blizzard Activision was just out of my sights. I didn't even know that this was possible for them to acquire this kind of company. Because when we were talking earlier, we were talking about like the top 10 revenue, and Blizzard Activision was in the top 10. They make a shit ton of revenue because they got mobile, they got the King, they got Candy Crush. It's a pretty good umbrella of a company. They make a lot of revenue, but I didn't. In my mind, dude, I couldn't fathom.
Candy Crush?
They got Candy Crush, bro.
King. Yeah.
It's King.
Damn. King is under the Activision umbrella or the Blizzard umbrella?
Activision.
Well, Activision.
Damn.
But Activision Blizzard is one thing, but yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But damn, that's crazy.
It's not a Blizzard developed game though. Yeah.
Yo, Candy Crush.
But it's under that umbrella. So, dude, it's just crazy to think that Microsoft, dude, they can buy anything, man. Like, can they buy Sony? Like, can they buy Sony?
They buy
I don't think so. Dude, they can. They're literally in the position they can buy whatever they want, and that's a really scary thought that you're able to buy. Because I didn't think that this deal was possible. In my mind, in my limited mind, I didn't think that this was going to happen.
But let me ask you, Mark, why were you excited about it?
This is why I'm excited, because I never have to buy a Blizzard game again. So my relationship with Blizzard is love-hate. I love Blizzard, but they've been fucking up a lot over the years, and it's very comforting that for $14.99 I can get all their shit and I can try it out, because they release a lot of disappointing stuff like Warhammer 3 Reforged, garbage. They released a lot of bullshit, and I just buy into it. You know what I mean? I'm just a fanboy, so I never have to buy a Blizzard game again. I could just sub to Game Pass, which I already like doing. I'm thinking about getting 2 subs for me and my wife going forward. But I never have to buy a Blizzard game again, dude. And it just excites me because I feel like they're at the point where they're just grasping. They're trying to find a way to stay relevant because all their games are kind of fizzling out. Like Overwatch fizzled out. Diablo kind of fizzling. I feel like Diablo 4 hype is at an all-time low. WoW is at an all-time low. All their games are at an all-time low. So it's kind of like a gamble. Like, do I want to keep playing these games? But with Microsoft, I can keep doing the subscription I already do, and now I get all these Blizzard games. So it's simple for me. I could keep being a Blizzard fanboy, but I don't have to pay to be a Blizzard fanboy. I get that shit. To me, I feel like I get it for free because I already like Game Pass as is. Yeah. So this is all just free games, and I don't have to feel torn.
The thing is, though, like with Blizzard games, like so for me, when I first heard this, my first thought was, for one, wow, 70 billion, this is insane. I'm just like, I was just blown away by just that whole notion in general. But then I started thinking at it from like a gamer's perspective, and I was like, what does this really do for me? Like, it doesn't really do anything for me. Like, the closest thing is my first thought.
Specifically?
For me specifically,
right.
As a gamer, what does this really do? Really, for most people, even not just me, but for most people,
But you can't say most people because the PC market is greater than PlayStation and Xbox combined.
What I mean
so
by
if you're saying the most people, like it's hard to say most people when most of their games are PC games. So it's hard to say most people when their market is PC gamers.
Well,
so,
I'll say what I mean by most people is most people who are already playing Activision Blizzard games. That's what I mean by most people. Like, so most people who are already in their ecosystems are already in their ecosystems. So like I've already purchased WoW. I've already purchased StarCraft. I've already purchased Diablo. Like these games are already bought and we're already playing in their worlds. So this doesn't really add any new value to me. The only new value that it really adds to me, and I think most people in their world, like even COD players, they already have COD Vanguard. So in the immediate sense, this isn't really like changing much. It's not like with Bethesda where there's like a whole bunch of catalogs of games that all of a sudden are going to be free on Game Pass. Like I hadn't played Prey before, just for one example, right? That are just all of a sudden going to become free and are going to constantly be releasing games. I feel like this is very much, in my opinion, more of like a revenue purchase by Microsoft, kind of like what they do with Minecraft, where like they just kept everything running the same as usual, and they just get more money now. They just get more revenue.
But they have a lot of games in their pipeline. Blizzard does. They got Overwatch 2 coming out, and that's a PvE game. That's going to be a pretty big one. They got Diablo 4 coming out. They got the future World of Warcraft
but
expansion.
Blizzard takes years and years, though, man, to like launch a game. They take like many, many years. So it's not like they pump games out yearly. Like usually Blizzard takes a long time to release a game, dude. Like a long,
of course,
time.
But
so
I mean,
Activision pumps a COD out every year. So for me, this felt like a COD purchase.
But Activision has a lot of games, though. They got Spyro, they got Crash Bandicoot, they got a lot of games. Activision does,
I guess, but not very popular games. I mean, Spyro's not popular. There's a few people that like it, but it's not anything like Elder Scrolls or it's not exciting. Like that's not exciting. Spyro.
Well, I mean,
it's not very exciting. I mean, Spyro. That's just not exciting. That's not news. That's what I mean by exciting. Like people aren't excited. It's not like in the news a new Spyro coming out. Like a new COD coming out, that's newsworthy. Like a new, Fallout coming out, that's newsworthy. Like they don't have a lot of those. Blizzard kind of does, but they're very few and far between on their releases. So, and I honestly don't know, man. Like if they're gonna make everything on Game Pass, as far as like Blizzard games go, I'm not sure necessarily if they will.
I don't even. Their umbrella, it's gonna be on Game Pass, bro.
If it's under their umbrella, it's gonna be on Game Pass.
Yeah,
I think all of them.
I don't know. We'll see.
Game Pass.
The only thing that's questionable is World of Warcraft.
Well, like
I'm
in the
sure.
subscription fee, right? Like they're not gonna drop that for Game Pass. I doubt that. I doubt they drop the subscription fee. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I can't imagine them letting you play WoW for free just on your Game Pass subscription alone. But
that'd be revolutionary for a while.
It would
bring a lot of people back.
It would definitely, yeah. I would, maybe possibly give it a try if I don't have to pay anything for it. It's just something, that I just get tacked on. So it's like, okay, why not? Like if they create another expansion or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, that I'd be like, okay, that's cool.
And then for me personally, like COD is not really that exciting to me anymore. But I've learned a lot from the last few days that Call of Duty makes the world go round, man. I feel like Call of Duty makes the gaming world go round because everyone is losing their head, losing their mind. And really all it revolves around is Call of Duty. Like if they just bought Blizzard, imagine if Blizzard was a separate company still and it wasn't part of Activision, I don't think people would be like losing their mind. Because those are just like good games that you get to play on Game Pass now. But Call of Duty, this is like some sacred cow that I didn't realize was so important to Sony. And like I guess we'll get into that more so when we talk about how this affects Sony. But I'm really, really, really blown away by how important Call of Duty is to everyone's ecosystem. And not just Sony. I'm talking about like GameStop. I'm talking about like physical games. Call of Duty this whole week has really opened my eyes to the impact Call of Duty has on just gaming in general. It makes me shiver kind of. I didn't realize it was this big a deal. it makes me, I don't know, it just brings a lot of questions to my mind, like with monopolies and stuff. Like, can a game get so stinking big that just acquiring it makes you feel like you're closing a market off?
I
Yeah,
mean, I
but
think it kind of gets like that when when you're talking about these games that have just been accessible, like, everywhere. I mean, it was almost like that when you're talking about acquiring Bethesda. You know what I mean? And you're talking about all the Elder Scrolls games and all the Fallout games that have been available everywhere, and now all of a sudden they won't be. You know what I mean? But like Call of Duty is like, it's a lot of people's bread and butter, man. Like they literally just play that game day in and day out, go to competitions.
here's the thing, guys. I
All that.
think that you're not thinking about for Call of Duty. Where does Call of Duty make all of its money?
PlayStation.
It makes all of its money on Call of Duty Warzones. And what's Call of Duty Warzones? It's a free game on all platforms. So
Mhm.
Call of Duty Warzones makes over 5-6 million a day in revenue. It makes millions a day. So that's where they make all their money. So I feel like they're going to keep wanting to make all their money. But now Microsoft is getting that money instead of Activision. So I don't, all those people who fear that Call of Duty might be an exclusive, I would say rest assured it's not, because they're making millions a day off a free game. Now Microsoft is making that millions instead of Activision. I think that's the only difference. I think Sir Knight touched on this. They just wanted that guaranteed revenue. Call of Duty is just a guaranteed sale. It's like a FIFA. People will buy the box, so they'll get the box sales. People might get a resurgence in the Game Pass when a new game comes out, but they're making all the money from the war zones, the free to play games.
The thing is, like, I don't think like anyone really cares if they buy Blizzard, because like you mentioned, Mark, Blizzard games are almost all exclusively PC anyways. So
Right.
Sony ponies and Nintendo bots or Nintendo fanboys don't care
Drones.
about that. Nintendrones, because it's a great one. Nintendrones don't care because it's already just a PC game, and so if you're playing it, you're playing on PC anyway. So no one would care. This really only, in my opinion, all this shitstorm, honestly, I really believe it's all COD. It's 100% Call of Duty. It's not World of Warcraft. It's not Overwatch, because those are already like PC games that people play on PC primarily. This whole issue is about Call of Duty, and that's shocking. And I do think that it's not just Warzone. Like, Call of Duty is the number one selling game of 2021, 2022, 2019, every year. It's the number one selling game for Sony. Like, and 70% of the copies that sell on a Sony console, from what I understand. 30% sell on Xbox. So it's not just Warzone, dude. It's like a huge profit.
But you got to consider this. Like, that's the retailer. They're selling these brick and mortar copies. They're probably selling digital copies, but that's not where they make their revenue. They make their revenue from the battle pass in the game. So the battle pass, they want as many customers as possible. So, you're right. They do make a good amount from the box sales, but they're not going to reduce their market of potential microtransaction customers, because they have Candy Crush. They're killing it with the grandparents now. They got, Call of Duty. They're killing it with the millennials. They pretty much have a little bit of everybody under their web. So I feel like everyone needs to just relax and just look at the facts. They want to keep making money.
Right. I hear you. I'm just saying that this is bigger than Warzone. Like, Warzone is where the majority of their revenue is once things have been purchased and sold and everything, but it's bigger than that. Like, so I mentioned like GameStop, like a big chunk of GameStop people coming in, a big chunk is Call of Duty. Like, if you can just get it on Game Pass, think about that. Like, that's a big hit, because a lot of people drive into their GameStop to buy their physical copy of Call of Duty, right? It's like this is impacting more than just like Microsoft's revenue book. Like, this is impacting a lot of different markets.
You talk about just in the form of like the Xbox people, because I think if the shit still comes out on PlayStation and Xbox, that the people who got PlayStation, they still gonna go into GameStop and purchase it.
I disagree.
The only thing that's gonna matter is,
I think if this is available on Game Pass, I think you're gonna see a lot of people play their COD on Game Pass and no longer on PlayStation. It might not happen immediately, but that's what will happen.
Maybe
that's what's
after a
gonna
couple of
happen.
years or something like that. But I
Xbox,
still
like
feel like people would just spend the $70 to purchase the game on their console that they already have. Unless they have both consoles, you know what I'm saying? But like you're gonna buy a whole new console just to get one game for free every year? Like,
no, I think it's like no. I think it's like, okay, now I'm going to. So maybe you weren't before, like, okay, they got Bethesda. That's really cool, man. I wish I had Game Pass, but I'll stick with my PlayStation. Oh, now they got this. Oh, now they got COD. It's just inevitable. Like, it's going to become so valuable that you'll just end up, you know what? I'm just going to stick to Game Pass now as my number one gaming service.
so
Like,
but
it's a
basically you're saying
snowball.
that basically you're saying that Call of Duty is the reason to purchase a console then.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that is like the straw that breaks the camel's back kind of thing. Like, it's already got a lot of great things, so Call of Duty puts it over the top. That's one of a dozen reasons to get into Game Pass, but now that's the one now that's going to push people finally over to just sticking with Game Pass as their number one source of gaming hobby.
But I got a question for you guys though. So with them purchasing Activision and Blizzard, do you think they just keep the same catalog of games that they have, or do you think that they utilize the studio to create something new for their console to give them some new type of exclusive or something like that? You know how like Bethesda has Starfield or whatever, but
I know on the Blizzard front, they're struggling to create anything. Even the remakes are kind of lackluster. Other than Diablo, that one was dope. So I would say on the Blizzard front, dude, I don't think so. And I think on Activision, they're just going to keep making COD until, we get bored of it, until it gets banned by the government or something, because they're making a tons of money. But I will say this about COD, though. Every year, I know they don't release all the numbers, so we mainly have to look at the UK numbers and the international numbers. But COD every year sells a little less than it did previously. The physical and digital sales go down a little bit every year.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why
took a hit last year, right?
Yeah. And the reason why is there's so many free-to-play shooter games nowadays. You know what I mean? So I would say that Microsoft is smart getting Activision because they're going to be making tons of money with very little effort. So
I think I agree with Mark Raya almost 100% that I don't think if it were that easy to just like do new things, then I think Activision Blizzard before their purchase would have been doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think for instance, Blizzard is, to piggyback off Mark, like Blizzard, all their resources are going to making what they're making, and they have a hard time relaunching games even once every 4 or 5 years as it is. Like they have a really hard time because for one, they have a very high standard, and so they have a very high standard of polish.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, what does that mean? Like, so Arachnid Soul says that the main Xbox guy, so Phil Spencer, must have said that he wants to bring back old Blizzard IPs. With what resources does Blizzard have? So what game suffers to do that?
They got Microsoft resources now.
No, I mean like, so they're going to hire more people? Is that what you're saying? They're just going to spend more money to bring back old IPs? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, you want to be as efficient as you can.
Or they
doesn't make any sense.
Use one of their other studios that they have and say, "Hey, you guys work on this."
But those studios are all doing something. But those studios aren't just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. Like everything that Blizzard Activision has is doing something. They're all working on something, whether that be skins for COD, whether that be polishing up Hearthstone. It doesn't matter. They're all doing something. Like, so how do you bring back these old IPs? What suffers? Like, how do you rearrange what suffers? And I don't think Microsoft wants anything to suffer. So I don't know. I just think I think it's going to be business as usual in large part,
I mean, I know a bunch of people quit Blizzard and Activision, within the last, few months or so. And this acquisition, I mean, they got money out the wazoo. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely see them fucking, making the shit increasing the personnel over there at Activision and Blizzard.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
I would say this, guys.
They gotta bring it back to its former glory, right?
Hey guys, do you guys ever know like, a restaurant in your town that does good and then they get like roaches or they get shut down for rats, right?
Yeah.
They
He
need
like,
to do
"Damn, man, that
something
chicken
when
was
they
so good. Fuck did I eat?"
they need to do something when they reopen to bring people in. So I feel like this is their way of putting a sign under new management, and they're doing the same shit as they're doing before. But now in front of the storefront, they have under new management sign. So I feel like it's gonna get them more buzz. You know what I mean? I feel like it's gonna get a lot of people because Game Pass games are just so easy and convenient. We'll see if these get on cloud. But like Sir Nat was saying, it's going to be business as usual. A lot of the talent, the OG talent from Blizzard is long gone. They started their own studios. They're retired. So it's hard to find talent. You know what I mean? So it's not easy to make new games. So with this deal, I think it's going to be more of the status quo, business as usual. But Microsoft is collecting the check instead of Activision. So that's what I think.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. I feel like this is a revenue purchase because I honestly don't know how Phil Spencer's planning on making. He's going to go in there and tell them stop. No, just take some guys from the Overwatch 2 team and make, what is that Vikings game? Make that old Vikings game. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, Overwatch is one of their most profitable games. Why would they take any resources from that? And why would you make anything that's great suffer? And right now, everything that Microsoft Blizzard makes is very, very profitable. So you're playing with fire if you want to go in there and rearrange. And then, I mean, if you're just going to hire new people, I mean, I guess, but that's not really Activision Blizzard now. You're just hiring new people. That's
I mean, you got to add people to the roster at some point. So it's still Activision and Blizzard.
Like, I mean, what I mean by that is that how is that any different than, okay, just buy 100 people and start a new studio then. I mean, it's not really, that's what I mean. It's not like you're just going to hire new people.
The name is the big thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They paid all that bread for a name. That bitch was on fire, bro. Like that was not like any other way to look at it. That wasn't any outstanding studio.
Yeah, that's one thing I can think of is what they'll do is they'll allocate these IPs to a different, now that they own the IP,
right?
They'll allocate it to a different studio.
That's what I would think, that they start sharing.
Not Activision Blizzard is not going to be doing that. I think Activision Blizzard is going to be doing what they've already doing. And I mean, I think Phil Spencer came on already and said that they're going to be independently run like Bethesda is. They choose their next games, they pick their next projects, they make their own decisions on what they want to create. So yeah. I think it's more so maybe taking these old IPs and maybe now that they own them, they can give them to other studios in their family to make.
Just got to be careful with that shit, man.
You got to be careful, man. Like, that's very touchy. I don't know. It's very touchy to think about changing anything.
Yeah,
business as usual. I think is the safest route.
Yeah, when you look at some of these other IPs, like taking like Fallout and stuff like that, you know what I mean, and having just like another group of developers work on the game. Mm-hmm. And then release it, but it's under your umbrella or whatever. You know what I mean? Sometimes shit just doesn't add up, to the same as your previous game.
You got to be careful, man. Like when you bring in new talent or new people, because it's got to meet a certain thing that is Blizzard standard. So it's very difficult, like it's very difficult to duplicate that by just giving it to another studio or hiring new people and just having them make it. Like, it's just a touchy situation. So I just see them sticking to business as usual.
Hey, Arachnid brings up a good point. He said that Microsoft saw that this would be the cheapest time for them to buy Activision.
Oh, of course.
And I agree. They bought the dip here. They saw the dumpster fire and they took it on, dude. So that's a great point. And,
yeah,
it's a business at the end of the day. So they got a pretty good business for a cheap price because of everything that's going around, So
yeah, the one thing that I think is good about this is I think that this change, it's like Mark Rice said, under new management, that kind of makes you think like, okay, I can go buy World of Warcraft again and not feel like I'm supporting, this sexual assault
problematic
studio. Right? Yeah, this problematic studio. It's like I feel more comfortable now playing Hearthstone or giving my subscription back to WoW. Like, that makes a big difference, that whole under new management thing. Yeah. And when the management, Phil Spencer, like, he's a good guy. He is. He talks a lot with the community. He cares a lot about what his community thinks. They're a lot more open about being community friendly than Sony ever is. Like, that is a really good for these games like that. We're on fire. And we thought they were going to go out of business. And actually, I think we're right. This is almost like the equivalent of going out of business, just selling yourself. And so I think we were right because it didn't feel like there was any direction they can go but down.
Yeah.
And so and Sony, like you said, and Microsoft struck when the prices was lowest to get these IPs, really to get COD, in my opinion, to get Call of Duty. But
yeah, and I think I was reading I think in the article that we had in our little group chat or whatever, but it looks like Microsoft had originally propositioned Activision and Blizzard with an offer a while ago, like maybe like a year or two ago, and they decided to take that interest and shop around and look for other people, and then
there actually were other buyers,
right? And so those other people just, I guess, decided to lose interest or whatever, but I guess the other offers fell through, and that's when Microsoft decided, okay, we're going to pull our offer, and then they offered to purchase Bethesda, and that offer was accepted. So now after all the shitstorm in 2021, they're coming back like, hey, bro, I know you said you wanted to buy us like a while ago, and I just wanted to let you know that we're like all for like a merger thing. Like, we try to do this. Like, we definitely love everything that's going on with Microsoft, and we'd love to work with you guys. And we'll cut you in on a very special deal, $90 a share. What do you say? You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, man, like, I want to bring attention to this too. This is the picture they released when they announced their acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want you to know, like, this is kind of telling to me. In my opinion, this is kind of like what I think Microsoft thinks there's value. These are the things that I think Microsoft thinks that there's value in.
Starfield, yeah.
Right? Like, and it's a lot of Blizzard. There's a lot of Blizzard there.
What is it? StarCraft?
There's a lot of Blizzard
Overwatch.
there. It's Overwatch, Blizzard, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Candy Crush, and they put even StarCraft over here. So
yeah, StarCraft.
I don't know what that means for the future of that.
I think they just unload on the PC, man. I mean, all of those were,
But if you know, like, yeah, all this is a lot of this is PC.
Hey, but here's the thing.
The only one that matters is Call of Duty. That's the only one that's in the middle.
But here's the thing.
Here's the thing. I think people are still
Overwatch is cross-platform on everything.
Yeah, but it's started on PC, and it's like I think it's largely considered like a PC game. In my opinion,
people play it everywhere.
I know you can play it on the console, but
Diablo is on all platforms since Diablo 3. You know what I mean? So other than like World of Warcraft and StarCraft, Candy Crush is a mobile only. So I feel like this just shows they have like a lot of ways to capitalize on the market. They got mobile.
I can see them definitely bringing Candy Crush to the console, bro.
that might do good. Who knows? But it's weird why StarCraft's on there. I wouldn't imagine them to highlight that.
Yeah, it's interesting that they highlight StarCraft. They see some value there, though. Interesting.
But it probably has good brand recognition.
Highlights and stuff when we went to that convention that one year, right? Wasn't StarCraft like one of the big names that they were talking about?
Well, I mean, one of the last years we went to BlizzCon, they are bringing StarCraft 2 out, so that was a big part. But they haven't StarCraft hasn't been around for a while.
No new expansions.
To me, it'd be similar to putting like Heroes of the Storm on here. Like, it's just kind of like a dead game, but they put it there anyways. Interesting.
Yeah,
probably because it has good brand recognition. That's what
it does have good brand recognition. That's true.
Yeah, everybody knows about StarCraft. Yeah.
Like, the next thing I wanted to talk about is what is Sony's next move? Like, they lost $20 million the moment that this was announced. So what do you think Sony does? What do you think is the future of Sony? Do you think that just a few questions, so what do you think they do? What's their future? And do you think that there's an inevitability that Game Pass ends up on PlayStation eventually?
Well, I mean, you did see that the first response that they gave after this was mentioned, that they were saying that, hey, we think that all of the contractual agreements will continue, you know what I mean? And that nothing should change. And then Phil Spencer had to go right behind him and yeah, we're planning on keeping everything the same. Our intent isn't to change the way Activision and Blizzard has been running like that anyways. So, I mean, obviously, the purchase, it had fucking Sony sweating, right? I mean, at $20 billion, hit, a $20 billion hit
That's nuts. That's
on your
all
damn
COD.
stocks just
That's
because
all
somebody
COD.
else made another fucking move. Like, God, dog, man.
Right, and you have to know that that's all
I didn't even
COD,
shit
right?
the bed. Like, what are you guys doing? Why did you guys sell my shit so quick? You know?
Like, yeah, this is crazy. Go ahead, Mark.
I would say this just shows how frail Sony actually is.
Mm.
We know how Microsoft has deep pockets, but I think Sony does a good job at showing how shallow their pockets really are. I think their revenue, although it's good, I think their operation costs are probably a little too high. Microsoft has so many other ways to generating revenue, and all of Sony's other channels of generating revenue are kind of weak nowadays. Their brand, they used to have the best electronics, and now they got some good headphones and a good console, and that's about it. They got some good cameras, but I would say Sony's in a tough times despite the popularity. I think this just shows that they are actually I think they're the underdog, man. I think this just shows that they are cowering and they are the true underdog.
But
So
yet they won the console war. Though.
Do you think this is gonna create like a little Cold War, like a little arms race? Does Sony feel pressured now to go get their own studios? I think this is the laziest way to add IPs to your studio, in my opinion. What Microsoft is doing, this is like the laziest way, and I don't think it's the best way, in my opinion.
IPs and shit?
Yeah,
So
this is not healthy for IP establishment, in my opinion.
So I think if Sony were to do what Microsoft is doing, it would not work. And the reason being is Sony's in the console war, but Microsoft is not, in this, they're working on the cloud, the subscription service. They're just playing a different game. You know what I mean?
They're in the right game.
Yeah.
I think that's the direction the future
they're
is.
future-proofing their company.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sony is just showing that they're still in the last gen. They got the last gen mindset with the fluffy exterior. You can't play the last gen game on this current gen. It doesn't look right. You know what I'm saying? So I think Sony is just a little bit 2 steps behind. They did awesome on the hardware, but I think that's it. I think their scope was a little too limited. And unless they start, innovating, their VR should have been wireless. I feel like all their extra hardware is just not spectacular enough.
Yeah, I really agree, Mark, that I think what you said earlier is this is really showing how fragile Sony is. Like, I think like they're on top, but I think they're on top like this, like they're barely keeping their head above water because they're like in the middle here trying to figure out what to do. Because in my opinion, like I look at Nintendo and I'm blown away by the Nintendo Switch in the sense that whenever I list a Nintendo Switch game on eBay or OfferUp, it's gone like immediately. It almost doesn't even matter like what Switch game it is. Like there is such a rabid fan base for Nintendo. It's shocking. And Sony,
like the actual game rabbit, or
no, like they've built such a solid earth. I mean, like it's like diamond. It's so strong. It's such a great foundation. Where Sony, they're like, I don't know what to do. Like we have a pretty good community. We have a lot of Sony ponies. They're really happy with our games, but at the same time, like I don't know what to do because we're not as strong as Nintendo. So why don't we put a game on the computer, the PC? We'll launch God of War. We'll launch these, try to make more sales that way. And it just devalues their games because whenever I put a PlayStation 5 game or a PlayStation game on eBay or OfferUp, it takes a long time to sell it. Where Switch games are like, can I have this? Can I have this? Can I have this? It just sells immediately. There's just a difference there. And then Microsoft is like, you know what? We're out of that business. We're just going straight cloud. And they both, I feel like Nintendo and Microsoft know who they are. They have a very strong foundation of who they know who they are. And Sony kind of doesn't. And they're kind of lost in the middle here, shockingly enough. Even though they're kind of on top right now, they're lost in the middle on what to do, man. And so that's why I was asking you guys, what do you think their next move is?
Well, I mean, they obviously got to buy like Ubisoft or something, bro. They got to go hard.
You think they got to buy some? So it's an arms race.
They got to empty the bank. I mean, so like, just like you were saying, I agree that it's a lazy way to try to get over on the competition by continuing to purchase these IPs instead of just creating new IPs with genius ideas and then letting those rock. You know what I mean? Sony, has always created new IPs, and they've been, pretty damn successful. You know what I'm saying? Like there hasn't been like any shit new IPs that they've dropped, really. And it's like, you know, consistently we've see Microsoft constantly trying to make moves to combat, what Sony is doing, pretty effortlessly, they and consistently. You know what I mean? And yeah, like at the end of the day, Sony doesn't have as much money as Microsoft is, but that's because Microsoft has like, like you were saying, like so many damn areas of revenue. You know what I'm saying? Like if Sony sold computers or something like
They
that,
got Windows, man.
that might be a way. Yeah, you got processors. You like
that's where their money's at.
It's different. Yeah, like if you were just playing with, Xbox money, you know what I mean? That might be a whole different conversation. You know what I mean? But I feel like I don't know the books, but I feel like PlayStation is a pretty solid amount of profit that Sony is getting from their stuff, and probably the other half is like movies. Like Mark was saying, like yeah, they got cameras and they got TVs and shit, but I don't think those is what's bringing all the money in. I think it's the movies and the video games or whatever that's there. But I mean, definitely Sony has to make some type of a grand scheme kind of move to let people know that, hey, just because they purchase names does not mean that they're going to provide you with like top tier high quality shit.
I think, like, in my opinion, I feel like we might look back at this date, January 18th or whatever, as the beginning of the end of, like, I think Sony needs to get out of the hardware business, man. Just get out of the hardware business and make good games and put them on PC or make them available everywhere. I think they just got to get out of this is really hampering them, because really all this is about is hardware sales, really. I mean, because they make great games. And I think they make the best games on the planet, in my opinion. I think Sony, that's what they do best. They make the best games in the world. They have the best studios in the world, in my opinion. And they just need to keep doing that. There's money to be made in there. But this hardware issue, this whole console war stuff, like,
it might definitely change. It might no longer.
Yeah.
They need to be
a streaming service role.
Yeah, I see them as, like at school when you're a kid, there's like that super popular person. You think everything's going good for them. They're on the varsity team, but deep down, they're insecure. They don't know what to do. They're like, after I graduate from high school, what do I have if I'm not on the varsity football team? And I feel like that's Sony right now. They may have a similar fate to Sega, only make games like you're saying, because I'll agree with Sir Knight. I feel like right now they make the best games out there. They make way better games than Blizzard currently. Like, they need to capitalize on their games. So if that means all their games have to come on the PC and the PlayStation at first to get some more money, then it is what it is. But
and to address Arachnid, like, people would freak out. I think it's one or the other. It's either Sony gets out of the hardware business or Microsoft does. And Sony would, in order to that, because Microsoft's killing them, dude. And so Microsoft could just be like, hey, we'll let you have the hardware, but you got to put Game Pass. We'll get out of the hardware business for you, but you got to put Game Pass on your console. And I don't know, man, if Sony has no choice, dude. Right? I mean, Microsoft.
I see
wins.
PCs going into a console type of business.
Yeah, there's always going to be PCs, and that's another thing is too. Like, there doesn't really need to be consoles anymore. But it's just, Microsoft wins no matter what. Sony doesn't. So like, Microsoft wins no matter what direction the future goes. Same with COD. Like, let's say COD stays multi-plat. Everyone's talking about Call of Duty not being multi-plat, or will it be multi-plat, or will it be exclusive? Yeah. Even if it does, like, every sale on a PlayStation Call of Duty copy, all the profits, it's like 30-70, right? It's like 70% are now going to Microsoft. So what does Microsoft care? Like, Microsoft wins no matter what. Like, this stupid comment here, we expect that Microsoft will abide by contract agreements and ensure that Activision games are multi-platform. So Microsoft, look, is that a shot? Like, that doesn't hurt us. That's what I'm saying. Hurt us at all. Like, this is silly.
Yeah, that's what I said. They're playing two different games. Microsoft doesn't care. They're like, our games have been on the PC for years, so they don't care about multi-plat games. Like, Sony is still banking on these exclusives when I think the days of exclusives are, this might be the last generation of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really hard,
So
man. Just make great games and give them available to all. I think Sony is realizing that too. They're making, I think I just heard, what was it? It was like a huge, it was millions, right, of God of War copies sold. I mean, I think it's the most one yet, the most sells yet for Sony. I mean, Sony's got to see just how valuable like good games are. Like instead of locking them behind these walled gardens, right? Like on this
Start letting them free.
PlayStation, yeah, like just they're valuable, man. Like good games are very, very valuable, and
I
you
think the
know,
moment if Sony were to ever do that, the moment that was done, Microsoft would just open their gates too, so that it was just available anywhere. Like they would start commingling and stuff like that. But like I said, the moment that both studios or entities decide that they want to get out of the console war, that's just primo spot for people who create PCs to create like the smallest type of PC possible that can produce like major output but allow you to play everything on it, and they would just take over, Steam Deck, you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, to wrap up the thoughts though, like what's your final thoughts on this stuff, Mark Raya?
I would say it just brings up a lot of other questions. Where are we going in this generation? What's going to come ahead? I think it's just like, the beginning of the end in some regards. But me personally, I'm very happy because I don't have to spend money on a potentially shitty Blizzard game ever again. And I might be able to get WoW for free. So it's very selfish. I'm very, 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 very happy about this deal for me personally. But long term, I would say it might be the beginning of the end for Sony.
Yeah. So yeah, in some ways, this is sad to me. Like, I'm a capitalist at heart. Whatever, buy what you want to buy. But I do think like this strategy is sad to me. The strategy of just going out and buying whatever company you want to buy that's the top at the time and just gobbling them up, like that does scare me. And I will say, like, thank God it wasn't Tencent. It wasn't a Chinese conglomerate that did this, because there were other shoppers, and that even scares me more. So I'm happy it was Microsoft. I don't like the strategy. I don't think it's good for high quality games. I worry about high quality games in the future, but I do think there's still value in them. And I think Sony needs to stick to making high quality games. And if your revenue takes a hit, it doesn't matter. You make good games that will always be relevant. High quality games will always be relevant. I don't care if the whole world's playing Call of Duty. Like, high quality games, they may not make as much money as Candy Crush or as Warzone, but they will still make a lot of money. High quality games are valuable. And so I worry for what this could mean for the future, and I don't want an arms race. I don't want where Sony starts gobbling and Microsoft starts garbling and there's this arms race. I don't want that. So this is a very bittersweet, because while I agree with Mark Araya, hey, it's cool. I get to play COD for free now. I get to play Diablo for free. I don't know if there's going to be a WoW subscription for free, but I mean, the expansions will be probably. So, I mean, there's going to be something free for WoW. That's as a selfish individual, Mark is right. Hey, that's cool. But I don't like the strategy, man, and it scares me for the future. And I guess this is probably the biggest thing that happened in gaming in the last decade.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty huge thing. At the end of the day, for me, it doesn't really matter. I wasn't really playing much Activision or Blizzard IPs. It's been a while since I've been on it, so
you dodged it like
Neil. It hasn't really, it doesn't bother me. And then the fact that it's, coming to an Xbox, and I have Xbox and Game Pass, I'm like Mark Araya, like, cool, like my father-in-law loves to play Call of Duty, and he's always trying to get me on it. And the only reason I had Cold War was because he bought it for me for Christmas. So, if not, I wouldn't have purchased it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, the only thing that I do worry, and then we kind of mentioned in the chat or whatever before, was almost like a sense of looming monopolies coming. You know what I mean? Like if you're consistently purchasing every damn thing because you can, it's gonna be like like 30 studios under Microsoft, and Sony's gonna have like whatever, like the 20 that they got or the 10 that they have. And then they're gonna just keep scooping up every damn thing. Next thing you know, Ubisoft be purchased by Microsoft. Fucking, all of these other studios that create like good games that everybody likes to enjoy. And then you'll be having to pick a side, or possibly until somebody decides that they don't want to be stubborn anymore and gives up on trying to make exclusives and make it for all. But I definitely like I don't want to see them just eat these IPs up to just continue the same shit that they've been doing. Like, revamp your stuff. Like, make something totally different. Give us high quality World of Warcraft MMO on a console. You know what I mean? Do something like that. Like, give us something brand new, but like, because you have the guys who really know how to work a fucking MMO, give us that on a console and change the whole game. And
I hope
how we do stuff.
I do hope that they take one thing that's neat is that COD engine is incredible. It's very pretty. I hope they take that, because Phil Spencer has said in the past that he wants his own Last of Us. He wants Microsoft to have their Last of Us too. And I think that engine's a great engine to do it on. No, that would be cool. We'll see what happens.
But yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, it's definitely a big move. I don't see why people hit Sony so hard as if they haven't put in work for so long. You know what I mean? Taking a $20 billion hit, I guess, to go and buy more Microsoft stock or something. I don't know. It seems like you should have had both stock anyways, or whatever. But
I think that's just because people are gonna buy Game Pass, so they're no longer gonna be playing COD on PlayStation, and that's a huge revenue for Sony. So I think $20 is probably a fair evaluation. 20 billion is probably. That's a big loss, man. Call of Duty is like so much money.
Yeah, but that's not the only. It's not the only thing. But anyways, but like I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me not one bit. You know what I mean? I'm just looking forward to seeing if they will actually do something with it, or just let these IPs sit and collect dust. Like friggin' DC with Static Shock or something like that. Like,
get your Game Pass subs while you still can, guys. Shit's going up. I'm excited to tell you. Shit's going up.
Yeah,
you're right. It will eventually go up.
Probably will. But I mean, I don't know. That new edition of Candy Crush revenue might be enough to
they're not big enough yet. But because right now they're like the only ones in the market that are doing a streaming service like Netflix for games. So they will get bigger, and this will be a big one. I think this is immediately you add millions of users immediately from this purchase. And once they get big enough, you're right, Mark. Dude, buy your little things now. Buy your little things now, man, and save them.
Yeah, hopefully they don't try to raise the price up too high. But so that's it. That's all we got for you guys. Appreciate you all for sticking with us. Arachnid. Who was the other person that was in there with us for a short period of time or whatnot? Crucial.
Oh, Crucial.
Appreciate you for stopping in. And anybody else who happens to check out the video and stop and drop a comment or whatnot, we appreciate you guys. Yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. Deuces.
Peace.
See ya.
I love you.